chef at the Edinburgh cafeteria today, and welcome to 15-Minute Meals. We're going to be making some tofu stir-fry today. We're here from the Whole Foods Cooperative in Erie, and this is just some tofu that I have here. This is one of these foods that's kind of a scary food to some people, so that's why we're talking a little bit about it. I also put some garlic cubes in there, and this is a little bit of sesame oil that we're browning it in. Tofu is made from soybeans, and it's a really nice, it's a very versatile food. It's something that a lot of people use when they stop eating a lot of meat instead of meat, but I think that you don't just have to eat it instead of meat. You can eat it even if you aren't a meat eater, along with your meat. Tofu stir-fry is great no matter what you like to eat. But this particular dish is really simple. I've just got some sesame oil and some tofu here, and I'm going to throw some veggies in. I'm going to saute this tofu just a little bit to kind of brown it. The one thing you need to know about tofu is when you start with it, it doesn't taste like anything. So that's why people are like, tofu, yuck. Well, it's because you got to season it a little bit. You got to put something on there. So a little bit of oil helps. That'll brown it up and get it going good for starters. Like I said, I threw some garlic in here, and I like to throw some fresh ginger in my stir fry, but today we've got some ground ginger, and I'm just going to add a little bit of that, just kind of a shake on top to give it some flavor. Ginger has a strong flavor, but that's sometimes a good thing if you like your food flavorful. I'm sauteing this over medium heat. If you do it too high, then it has a tendency to burn, so you just want to brown the sides. Something else that's very important when you're making tofu, there's different kinds. There's a silken tofu, which is a really creamy tofu, and they say for the firm silken tofu that you can use it in stir-fries. I don't recommend it. About the only thing that I use silken tofu for is making desserts like a tofu cheesecake or a tofu pudding or something like that. Because you can make cheesecake and pudding with tofu. But I like to use a firm or an extra firm water-packed tofu whenever I am making any kind of stir-fry or any dish like that. We also made a tofu lasagna today. It's lots of tofu today, since that's our food for today. With a tofu ricotta, which is just a tofu lemon juice, salt, onion, and garlic powder, and a little bit of basil, and it makes a great ricotta substitute. You can substitute it for cheese as well as meat, or like I said, just eat it because it's good plain. And this has a cashew cheese sauce on top. The terrible thing about watching cooking on TV is you don't actually get to taste how awesome this food is. That's what really convinces you. Okay, well, our tofu is a little brown now, so I'm going to start throwing my veggies in. I want to start with my veggies that are a little bit firmer, like my broccoli. Oh, I still got tofu in there. Yeah, I don't know about this pan. I said I don't know about this pan, but can I get just some water to add? I don't want to add more oil. I just want to add a little bit of water. Now, I started sauteing with a sesame oil. Sesame oil is great. It gives your food a really authentic Asian flavor. I do like to not use a ton of oil, though, in my food, just to keep the fat down, and also just for several reasons. It's just better for you. So a lot of times when I'm sauteing, I just add a little water to kind of steam as well as saute your veggies. And you just put your crisper vegetables in there first, like your broccoli. And now I'm going to go ahead and throw my carrots and things in there, mushrooms, peppers, and onions. We got some snow peas. You can throw whatever vegetables you are privy to in here. Veggies give your stir-fry a lot of that good flavor. We've got some bok choy, that's a Chinese cabbage here, and I usually throw that in last. I'm going to add a little water. To this. Just a little bit, just to steam the veggies. Now, part of the reason why they call it a stir fry is part of the point is to continue to stir it as it fries. This helps you. You can do it at a faster temperature or a higher temperature, and it'll cook faster without burning when you're stirring all the time. Okay. Now you don't want to overcook your veggies. Just want to get them kind of a crisp tender. You want to be sure they still keep that nice green color. Keep lots of those vitamins and nutrients and minerals in there. I put the bok choy in last. If you use bean sprouts or bok choy, they're a thinner vegetable, so you want to put those in last so they don't overcook. And you still get some flavor with them. Why tofu? There's been a lot of research lately that talks about how soy foods are really great for your heart. #1 killer in the United States is heart disease. I can talk to you a lot about why you should eat tofu instead of meat, but I'll be nice today, and we'll just talk a little bit about it. Like I said, you can still be a meat eater and eat tofu. It's great for you in moderation. Again, we need to remember there's something that we as Americans, we forget, and we learned it since we were in kindergarten, so how we forget is beyond me. That food pyramid, what's on the bottom? Your whole grains, and that's where you need to start. That's why we serve our stir-fry with some nice rice. But you always need to start with lots of fruits, veggies, and whole grains. And then if you look at that food pyramid, the meat, the dairy, and the oil are just a little bit on top. And it's the same thing. Tofu is still a high-protein food, so it's still something you don't want to have in abundance. We've got lots of veggies and rice and just a little bit of tofu to kind of give you your protein and some added flavor and texture. But there we go. We got those vegetables nice and crisp. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little sauce. I think I'm going to add a little bit more ginger. You can kind of smell. Do it according to your own taste buds, but I can smell that it doesn't have too much ginger in it. We can add a little more. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about, probably a teaspoon of honey in there. And you want to do this while it's still warm, because that'll help to soften up the honey. Okay, and we'll finish that sauce after a little break.
At Norman's Deli and Pizza, each pizza is hand-tossed and made fresh for every order. Whether you like plain cheese, pepperoni, olives, or anchovies, Norman's will be happy to make a pizza that suits you. Norman's offers 2 separate dining areas for your enjoyment and a pool table that can be used free of charge while you wait or eat. Norman's also has an extensive menu from subs and salads to peanut butter and jelly. Norman's Deli and Pizza is locally owned and operated and available for dine-in, delivery, or carry-out. Norman's is located in the College Park Plaza off Darrow Road.
Getting around campus and town has never been so easy. Just show your Edinburgh student ID card and you can ride the EMTA Edinburgh Express Shuttle for free. Whether it's a class across campus or shopping at the other end of town, the Edinburgh Express Shuttle can get you there and back safely and quickly. The Express runs Monday through Saturday for your convenience. Pick up a schedule at the UC Center, on board, or check out the EMTA website.
Get on board EMTA.
Welcome back to 15-Minute Meals, and we're going to finish up our tofu stir-fry today. If you missed it, we've been browning some tofu, and we also have stir-fried some veggies in here. We've added a little bit of ground ginger. Fresh is even better if you can find it, but ground is still very tasty. And then about a teaspoon of honey to our veggies. And now I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce, probably about a tablespoon. You always want to start with less. Soy sauce is a very salty food. I have a tendency to use a low sodium tamari. It's a less salty, again, better for your heart, and that's one of the reasons we're eating this tofu, right? And just stir that up a little bit. And now what I'm going to add, I've toasted some sesame seeds. That's real easy to toast them. You just put them in a dry pan. You can do that before you throw your cooking oil into here, and just let them brown a little bit. And you're just going to throw some sesame seeds on here.
Sesame seeds are actually a better source of calcium than milk.
That's right. They're lower in, milk is very high in phosphate, which kind of, it stops your body from absorbing the calcium. And yeah, sesame seeds and almonds are very, very high in calcium. So you got a pretty complete meal right here. You've got tofu, you've got your protein in your tofu, you've got your calcium and your green veggies and your sesame seeds, and then of course all those great minerals and nutrients in your mixed veggies. And there you go. Serve that with rice and you're good to go. I just also want to recommend, I was going to bring a package and I forgot it today. At the co-op we sell, it's my favorite kind of tofu, and one of the reasons is some of the tofu that you buy in the store actually has a bad flavor when you start with it. And like I said, most tofu has no flavor when you start, so that's the first thing you have to realize. You got to add some salt, whether it comes in soy sauce or tamari or liquid aminos or just straight salt. I also use a vegetarian chicken seasoning. That's a great salt, or even kelp. That's a salt flavor if you want real low sodium. But I'm going to turn this guy off somehow. There we go. But it needs some kind of flavor booster. But then you'll get some brands that actually taste bad in the beginning. So then you have to add extra stuff on top to try to get your flavor decent. So I suggest the Spring Creek tofu brand, which we have at the co-op, and that's really the only place I know around here that has it. It's from Tennessee. It's a small locally owned business. You can find it all over the place. I'm sure you could find it on the web, if you couldn't get down to the co-op, but we're not that far. So, and that's what they use there in their deli. They have some really great things to try there. They have eggless egg salad made with tofu, chickenless chicken salad. You can do all kinds of things with tofu. That's why it's a great thing when people are first switching from eating meat to more vegetarianism, or just trying to get less meat in their diet. It's something that makes you still feel like you're eating a whole meal. I've been a vegetarian for 15 years, so I can sit down and eat a plate of rice and a salad or vegetables and feel like I've had a meal. But a lot of times when you're coming from eating a steak and potatoes, and that's what you're used to having for a meal, you're not going to be happy with salad and rice. So, the tofu gives you a nice, fulfilling feeling. That's another thing, too, why we did a cashew cheese sauce. It's a great fat. I also don't eat any dairy. My son is 5 years old, and he's never had any dairy. And one of his favorite things is cashew gravy. And it's just one of those great things that it helps you to feel full. So cashews and tofu. I found that even a man who's used to meat eating can have a satisfying meal with some cashews and tofu. But if you have more questions or want some recipes, I'm sure that we can get those for you. We always have lots of educational seminars or educational classes and recipes and things at the co-op. So anything you need to know, feel free to call there. And thank you very much.
For more recipes, check out www.dineoncampus.com/Edinburgh and click on the recipes link.